Good evening, students. In yesterday class we studied preparation of colloids and purification of colloids. Students, today we will study about difference property of colloids. In second chapter of solution, we study a property that is colligative property. Students, what do you mean by colligative property? If you remember that property, colligative properties have four properties: relative lowering in vapor pressure, elevation of boiling point, depression of freezing point, and osmotic pressure. These four properties we already discussed in detail in solution chapter. But in colloids, those property also happens. When we compare true solution and colloids, these colligative property are lesser number. What are the reason? Because colligative property depend on number of solute particle only. They do not depend on nature of substance. If the number of particle increase, the colligative property increase. If the number of particle decrease, then those property decrease. So students, colligative property of colloidal solution is lesser than true solution due to in colloids aggregation of the different molecules. In solution, number of the particle are larger size. This one is the one characteristics. And now we will study a new effect, that is Tyndall effect. Students, you already know in 9th class what is Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect means scattering of light by colloidal particle or suspension particle. Because the colloidal particle are slightly larger size, when a beam of light passes through the colloidal solution, then the path of light is visible. Students, when we pass the light through a solution, then when we observe the path of light, the side of the, when we pass the beam on the direction of the path of the light, that side we get a clear solution. And if we observe at right angle, then we get dark, no particle, dark screen. But if we observe in scattering of light in colloidal solution, then if we observe through the direction of the beam of light, then its particles are translucent, means parabhasi, earth parabhasi. And when we observe at right angle, then the particles are illuminated, slightly opalescence. So that is the difference in colloids and solution. Now I am showing you an activity. Now students, we take a true solution of salt, sodium chloride solution. In this sodium chloride solution, you know, transparent solution, and the particles we can't observe by naked eyes. What happens if we pass a beam of light? Students, when I pass the beam of light through this, then this solution appears a clear solution. And if we observe at right angle by microscope, then its particles are not visible, they are as a dark. If we observe the path of beam of light in a colloidal solution, that is a milk. In this, what happens? The particles are translucent, because particles are observed. If you observe by the right angle, then they are scatter the light and the particles are illuminated. So this is slightly different. This difference at first observed by Michael Faraday, and after that the scientist Tyndall. So this known as scattering of light, that Tyndall effect. So there is a Tyndall cone formation. Students, when the cone a particular angle is formation, there are two main conditions for the cone. First condition is diameter of particle of reflected light is not much smaller than the wavelength of the light. Another, refractive index of dispersed phase and dispersing medium should be greatly differ in their magnitude. Refractive index, dispersion medium and dispersed phase greatly differ their greatly magnitude. and diameter of the particles or dispersed particles are equal to, should not be less than the scattered light of the wavelength. So these two conditions they complete in the colloidal soul. In 1903, Zsigmondy clearly differentiate true solution and colloids by this Tyndall effect. Students, true solutions particle are smaller size, so they do not scatter the light. But colloid and suspension, the particle are larger size, they scatter the light. This scientist, Zsigmondy scientist, used a ultra microscope. That ultra microscope used as right angle. When he observed a right angle like this, when he passed a beam of light through the colloidal soul, observed through the right angle, then what happened? The colloidal particle appears as a bright star with clear dark background. The particle appear as bright stars with background when using ultra microscope, but he could not explain the size and nature of the particles. In 1903, he explained successfully. So the Tyndall effect is very important property of the colloidal particles. Now we can summarize what is Tyndall effect. Scattering of light when passed through the colloidal soul. Students, when we observe especially in winter season, when we closed all the window and doors, very small pore sunlight is passed through that room, then the sunlight particle, the path of light is easily observed due to the dust particle and smoke particles. Students, when you go any cinema hall, then backside of the light focus, then due to the inside the cinema hall, the dust particle and smoke particles, due to that scattering of light and path of the ray of the light when scatter on the wall of the cinema, that are pictures we can show, that also observe the Tyndall effect. Another phenomena given in your NCERT book in 9th class, when a dense forest sunlight pass, that sunlight when scatter, then easily can see the path of the light. Another phenomena, if we open that in a dark night and we switch on the torch, then the path of the light is clearly visible due to the small particles and others microbes easily can observe in the air. So this is known as scattering of light. Next, students, color of colloidal particle depend on wavelength of scattered light passed through the colloidal soul. Students, we already discussed in 11th class that is light is a long spectrum like this. This area only we can observe by that act as visible region. In this visible region, if we separate out further, then slightly I expand this region, that is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. That is from 400 nanometer wavelength to 750 nanometer. It means color depend on wavelength of the scattered light, and this spectrum already discussed in 11th class, that is UV, then X-ray, then gamma ray, we already know cosmic ray, that are IR, microwave, radio wave, long radio wave, medium wave, FM, SW, radio wave. We already know this spectrum in 11th class. So mainly color depend on wavelength of the scattered light. This wavelength further depend on size of colloidal particle, size and nature of the colloidal particle also. It depend on size, nature. Third, other one factor of the wavelength of the light known as the way how can we observe, means if we observe parallel or at right angle, if we observe a reflected light or transmitted light. For example, when the milk colloidal sol, if we observe reflected light, this we can observe by microscope. If you observe by reflected light, this appears blue color. But if appears transmitted light, then it appears red color. And this is only possible by microscope. So the way how can you observe the light, reflected light? If you observe reflected light, then the color appears blue color. And if you observe transmitted light, then it appears red color. Sometimes this question comes in students in IIT in 2018. Color depend on colloidal particle. There are 4 different options. First, wavelength of the scattered light dispersed particle. Another one, size of the particle, nature of the particle, way, how can you observe the color. So the color depend on all these parameters. We take another example. For example, we take gold sol. On that gold sol, the color is red color. If the particle size increase, when the gold sol is made by a particular method, yesterday already studies Brady-Gark method, electrical disintegration. 2 rods are immersed in a solution, intense heat release out, metal is evaporated and then further condensed, convert into colloidal sol. So on that method, this gold sol, if size increase, then what happen? This red color convert into purple color. Further it change into, further size increase, then blue, it change into blue color. Further it change into golden, finally golden color. So how can we write? How can we remember? PUBG. PUBG means, students, this one is a game, purple, blue, golden. In this way you can remember. Sometimes what color change of gold sol, it appears red color, then after purple, blue and finally golden. A word name of PUBG at the games in these days. The Indian government ban on that game, Chinese game. So in this way, color of colloidal particle we can observe. Next property of colloidal sol is Brownian moment. Brownian moment, it is observed by a very powerful ultra microscope. The first scientist, Robert Brown, British botanist, that discovered nucleus in the cell. According to that scientist, the colloidal particle have zigzag motion. They are continuously moving and they like move in this way, zigzag. They strikes to each other and move to other direction. So that is zigzag motion, because they strikes to each other and their direction is changed. This is the reason, the stability of the colloidal sol, because when they strikes to each other and dispersion medium have unbalanced force, string effect. So due to this, colloidal particle we know have either type charge, positive or negative, only one type charge. So they repel to each other and they are continuously movement. But in true solution, this is not happen. Due to Brownian moment, colloidal particles, colloids are stable for a long time, and suspension particles are settle down, precipitate out. So this is the main effect, and we can observe this movement only by ultra microscope, because we can't observe by naked eyes. And first observed by Robert Brown, so their name is this movement known as Brownian movement. This is a characteristics of colloidal particle, and true solution do not show this property. Friends, charge on colloidal particle occurs by these three different methods: electrodispersion, preferential adsorption, and electrical double layer. Out of these three, this one, preferential adsorption, is most accepted. Yesterday video we already studied that activity. Now I am write the reaction. When we take silver nitrate in a test tube and other test tube potassium iodide, when silver nitrate added in potassium iodide, then we get silver iodide as precipitate and potassium nitrate. In this precipitate, light yellow color, this silver iodide precipitate AgI, silver nitrate placed in potassium iodide, then what happen? Potassium iodide ion adsorb on the surface. Iodide ion adsorb on that surface. So the large molecule dissociate into smaller and colloidal particle. This colloidal particle convert into this and they have negatively charged sol. So how can we write this as a sol? AgI/iodide. In this way we represent this sol because it is negatively charged. A precipitate when small amount of electrolyte, then it get negatively charged. Another method, if we put potassium iodide in silver nitrate, then also same precipitate formation, that are silver iodide. In yesterday video we explained the activity, this and potassium nitrate. But now what happened? This time this precipitate, silver ion is adsorbed, only one ion, that is preferential. So due to the adsorption of silver ion, it is positively sol. So this again dissociates small particles. Why? Due to same charge, mutual repulsion, and the particles are broken down into smaller particle, positive sol. Now we represent this sol AgI/Ag plus. So this one is positive sol, this is negative sol. Then iodide is adsorbed, other one silver is adsorbed. We can explain another example also. If we take ferric hydroxide sol, ferric hydroxide, how can we prepare? Ferric chloride, when we mix hot water, if you mix hot water, then we get what? We get a colloidal sol like this. We get ferric oxide, Fe2O3, X hydrate, and HCl formation in this. This precipitate out on this hot water, ferric ion is adsorbed. Which ion, students? Ferric ion. Due to this ferric ion, it is positively charged sol. So the particles are again dissociate smaller particle and they convert into colloidal range, ferric ion. That method known as peptidization, we already discussed in yesterday's video, Fe+3. So this represent like this, Fe2O3 X hydrate /Fe+3 in this way. So this is a positive sol. But if this ferric chloride added hot sodium hydroxide, concentrate sodium hydroxide, then what happen? Concentrate sodium hydroxide, then we get a negative sol, ferric oxide, X hydrate, and adsorb OH ion, because that adsorb OH ion. So this known as preferential adsorption. We already explained on that video and given in your NCERT book also. Students, this was the activity that depend on preferential adsorption. There is another layer, double layer formation. Now we explain double layer. Students, when the either a positive or a negative ion adsorb on the precipitate, that get a fixed layer, that known as fixed layer. Fixed layer. So either it gets negative charge or positive charge. We can see in this example. Silver iodide adsorb iodide ion or silver iodide adsorb potassium silver ion. So due to this, it is positively solved and negatively solved. But in the medium, that on dispersion medium, another ion, that is counter ion available. For example, iodide ion adsorb, so there is a potassium ion remaining. That potassium ion behave as a mobile layer, movable layer, mobile layer. So that mobile layer name is diffused layer. So between these two layers, one is fixed layer, other is a mobile layer, there is a potential difference created. That potential difference known as electrokinetic potential or zeta potential. Zeta potential. This potential observed by a scientist, Helmholtz double layer. Helmholtz potential or zeta potential. Helmholtz double layer. In that layer, one is fixed layer, other one mobile layer. Mobile layer name is diffused layer. That, for example, silver iodide and silver ion, this ion further either negative ion, another negative ion, iodide or a nitrate, it can observe by, because potassium iodide, so it is iodide ion. So this iodide is known as movable layer. So potential difference between these layers, known as electrokinetic potential, zeta potential, or that also a reason to, we can say the colloid have either type charge. This also comes many times in exams. What is electrokinetic potential or zeta potential? This given by scientist Helmholtz. One is fixed layer, other one mobile. How can fix? By preferential adsorption. Now we explain another activity. Friends, now we study another activity of colloid is electrophoresis. We earlier discussed colloid have either charge, positive or negative, only single type charge. So if we applied a electrode current, when we pass current in a U-tube, then what happens, students? Movement of colloidal particle towards any one electrode. If the colloidal particle have positive charge, they move towards cathode. If the colloidal particle have negative charge, they move towards anode. So movement of colloidal particle through when we apply a electric field, that process known as electrophoresis. If they movement towards cathode, then this process known as cataphoresis. Cataphoresis. Movement towards cathode. If the movement towards anode, then this process known as anaphoresis. So these three different terms. Electrophoresis means movement of colloidal particle towards any electrode, because colloidal particle have either positive or negative charge. If the colloidal have positive charge, they move towards cathode. That process known as cataphoresis. For example, ferric hydroxide sol, aluminum hydroxide sol are positively sol. If they pass current, then they move towards cathode, and after that cathode they are stuck to each other, get neutralized, and they precipitate out, settle down. So charge is removed out. By this process, cathode colloidal particle is destroyed. Another, if they move towards anode, for example, a arsenious sulfide sol, that is negatively sol, move towards positive plate, that is anaphoresis. Students, if we apply any semi-permeable membrane in this, semi-permeable membrane, you know that is a selective membrane. Through this membrane, colloidal particle is not movement. if we placed anyhow, we stop their movement of colloidal particle, then this process known as electroosmosis. Electroosmosis, movement of dispersion medium. If the medium is water, movement of dispersion medium that time, because colloidal particle can't move. If we block, when in a drain, if we placed any wire gauge, then what happen? Large molecule stop at that side, only water and small molecule pass away. In similar way, if we placed here in a semi-permeable membrane, then colloidal particle can't move, only solute particle move. That process known as electroosmosis. So this is a main term. By electrophoresis, ultimately the particles charge get discharged by taking electrons, oppositely charged electrode, and mutual coagulation, they are precipitate out. In this way, the colloidal particles or colloids is damaged, or colloid convert into suspension or precipitate. Next property of colloidal sol is coagulation, precipitation or flocculation. Students, these three words, coagulation, precipitation and flocculations, are synonyms, means setting down. The process of settling of colloidal particle is called coagulation, precipitation or flocculation of the sol. How can the coagulation or a precipitation occurs? Why, there are different methods. So now we explain one by one. First we explain electrophoresis. Electrophoresis already discussed. When we pass current in a U-tube, then movement of colloidal particle, either cathode or anode, because colloid have either charge positive or negative, movement oppositely charged ion, and get their charge neutralized on that electrode and settle down or precipitate out. So that process, electrophoresis, a process to coagulation or a precipitation. Next method is by mixing two oppositely charged sol. Students, we know, we earlier discussed colloids are either positive or a negative charge. If we mix two oppositely charged sol, one is hydroxide sol, other is sulfide sol, definite they are mutual coagulation. So I am showing you two different sol. One is this, one is a starch sol, other one is ferric hydroxide sol. So ferric hydroxide means metal hydroxide positively sol, and starch sol we know that is negatively charged. If we mix, then they are mutual coagulate and they are get precipitate out. So this one is precipitate formation like this. So students, they get precipitate out for some time, so that known as mutual coagulation. If two oppositely charged colloid you mix, then they are setting down because they neutralize to each other. This one is an example. You can mix ferric hydroxide sol, ferric hydroxide hydrate, written in this way. This is a positive sol, and another is a arsenious sulfide sol. Arsenious sulfide sol is negatively charged, this positively charged, so they mutual coagulation and they settle down. That is one example. We can give another example also. Other one is by boiling. Third method is by boiling. Students, you know, when we make omelette, we in egg albumin, also a colloidal protein. When we heat, then what happen? Friends, it's changed into like a white mass, solid hard mass, means that is coagulate, setting down. Because in that egg, embryo have this inside have a yolk, this one is yolk, yellow protein, and this one is a colorless like water, that is albumin protein. Albumin protein. And that one outside is a coal of outside cover calcium carbonate, that is calcium carbonate coated cover. This embryo, that is made embryo, and this protein albumin provide nutrition. But what happen when we heat, then its biological nature is changed, so it is coagulate and convert into solid hard mass. Its biological function stopped, but the need of the amino acid remaining present. So by boiling, that also a coagulation. Fourth method is, we already discussed, by persistent dialysis. We earlier studied dialysis, a process to purification of a colloids because a colloidal particle we can separate by semi-permeable membrane. Our kidney work as a for like dialysis, but a person kidney is not work properly, then blood cannot remove the toxins, means urea and other substance we can't separate out. We use for dialysis or electrodialysis. But if we apply for a long time, persistent means for a long time, then all electrolyte is removed out and the colloidal particle needs some electrolyte for stability. If we remove all the salt, then the particles are come to each other and they are coagulate, and mutual coagulation they are shutting down. So if we apply persistent for a long time, then this also coagulation. Last method, by adding an electrolyte. Student, this one is a most important. By adding an electrolyte, we explain by a rule that known as Hardy-Schulze rule. Hardy-Schulze rule. A scientist, according to this rule, because colloid have either charge positive or negative, so if we mix any electrolyte and electrolyte have both charge positive as well as negative, oppositely charged ion coagulating power is directly proportional to its fourth power of valency. This Hardy-Schulze rule is oppositely charged ion, oppositely charged ion coagulating power is directly proportional to its fourth power of valency. So more the valency, more the coagulating power, means easily coagulate. So that is more coagulating power. For example, if any colloid have positive sol, so positive sol, then it's required negatively charged, like this chloride, then sulfate, then phosphate, because negative charge valency power increase. If any salt of chloride or a salt of sulfate or a salt of phosphate, and we have positive sol, so chloride valency 1, sulfate overall -2 charge, phosphate -3, so there more the valency, more the coagulating power, means that is minimum amount of a salt is required for coagulation. If the sol is negatively sol, then what happen? We have different salts, like one is aluminum salt, other one magnesium salt, and one is a potassium salt. So which have more coagulating power according to this? Aluminum salt have more coagulation of that, because that is more valency. Now we explain more detail some Hardy-Schulze rule. Minimum concentration. The minimum concentration of an electrolyte in millimole per liter required to cause precipitation of a sol in 2 hours is called coagulating value, or we can say flocculating value. Students, this coagulating value, lower the coagulating value, more the coagulating power. This one is Hardy-Schulze rule. It's depend on oppositely charged ion electrolyte, fourth power of its valency. If a positive sol, then it's required more valency of the negative ion. If the negative ion, then it's required positive ion over the electrolyte. And electrolyte have both the ion, positive as well as negative. That we take the minimum amount in millimole for a 1 liter solution in 2 hours. That amount known as coagulating value. Lower the value, more the coagulating power. This is Hardy-Scholl's rule. Students, now we summarize today's property of the colloids. First we study colligative property. Those property depend on number, do not depend nature. Colloid have lower colligative property than true solution due to colloid is larger size. Other one, we study the Tyndall effect. Colloid show scattering of light because the particle size is large, so they scatter the light and they show different colors. We observe the different angle and color depend on wavelength, nature, particle of size, and the way how can we observe the light. After that we study the Brownian movement, zigzag motion, because particles have a single type charge, so the mutual repulsion, they are continuously moving. Due to that movement, the colloids are stable. Next one, we study charge on the colloidal particle, either positive or negative. The three different methods: preferential adsorption, electrodispersion, and electrical double layer. So most accepted one is preferential adsorption. Then we study electrophoresis, movement of a colloidal particle when we pass current, then oppositely charged mutual that take discharge on their charge at an electrode and they are coagulate. Last one, we study the different method of precipitation or a coagulation or flocculation. By that different method, first one boiling, mutual mixing, and persistent dialysis. If we remove all the electrolyte or by adding an electrolyte, depend on the fourth power of negatively charged, oppositely charged valency. So students, write in your notebook as a short note and more thoroughly study in NCERT and reference books, and make notes especially on Hardy-Scholl's rule, flocculating value, coagulation value, and many times this question comes in your exam, which one is better, coagulating power, more power. Tomorrow we will discuss about emulsion and the usage of colloids, protecting power of a lyophilic soul and gold number. So tomorrow we will finish this chapter. After that we discuss. If you have any problem, then write in comment box, like and subscribe. Thank you. Have a nice day.